Hey everybody, this is James Bishop with the Ding Stinger Podcast. This is episode 3. We're broadcasting live this morning from the base of Pikes Peak in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's a dreary morning. I can look out past just our camera here, and what I usually see is the beautiful mountain of Pikes Peak right out that window, but today it's super cloudy and wet and raining, but it's a beautiful morning. So I'm excited to talk to you this morning about the Matrix. The Matrix is something that I'm passionate about because it speaks so much to our industry and how it affects everyone in daily business. This is a podcast that's going to have information that is basically on the side of paintless dent repair more so than on the auto body side, but it affects all of us because it has information that I think we should all know that will help us all in the future, because the Matrix is basically the pricing guide that paintless dent repair industry utilizes as a baseline or a guideline for hail damage repair. Back in 1996 is when the first Matrix really made its way onto the scene. I started fixing dents in October of 1991, and the first 5 years of doing this type of repair, it was always on hail claim situations. No one was writing paintless dent repair as an insurance carrier, so it was kind of the Wild West as far as adjusters and what they paid, and it used to be that people got these pretty decent healthy checks. A lot of us old dent techs know this, that a lot of people got a check for a full paint and refinish on their vehicle anytime it hailed. So when you bid a car, a lot of times people made money on a hail claim. And that wasn't going to fly for very long with the insurance company, especially when paintless dent repair became a widely enough and accepted process for repair. And they started to see that there were technicians that were capable of completing a lot of repairs. So of course the insurance company got involved, and a few of the paintless dent guys out there that have been in this business a long time, it's kind of one of those things. There's people that are like, oh, those guys sold us out because they came out with the Matrix, and it's a matter of opinion on how you look at it. Business is business. Insurance companies put the Matrix out there, not really for everyone to use, which is kind of an interesting point. The Matrix was designed as an internal document for a body shop or a business that has a direct repair program agreement with an insurance company. So the Matrix is only really for like a State Farm Matrix. State Farm as a company doesn't even call it their Matrix. They call it the Dent Wizard Matrix now. They don't want to claim responsibility for what the pricing is and the guidelines, obviously, but because it is an internal document, it's something that's between a collision center who is getting work from an insurance company on a regular basis. That's an agreement or a baseline guideline that they use to price dent repair. Because before, everything was just kind of a shot in the dark. An insurance adjuster would go to multiple paintless dent repair places or talk to multiple paintless dent repair technicians, and they would all have a different story for them as to why they charged, what they charged. It was all over the board. So when they did come out with a pricing guideline, since it wasn't for everyone, it just got accepted by everyone, because I think the body shops that had the big DRP agreements, which is getting work steered to them, that is illegal, that it gave them a way to be able to have a starting point, basically. And any business needs that, so that you know what your costs are and you know what your expenses are going to be. So if they have an idea and have a way that they can at least keep everybody in the same arena or all playing in the same yard together, that's what the insurance company did, and they're very, very good at that. So when you think about it, the point that I wanted to make about the Matrix, one of the biggest points that I always want to push to other industry people, is that when you hear the word Matrix for dent counts, dent sizes, all the little things that go along with it, 25% markup for double panel, all the things that are on a matrix for how you price cars, has nothing to do with you. It doesn't have anything to do with you unless you have an agreement with a business that has an agreement with a body shop. All the insurance companies out there don't have a written agreement with too many paintless dent repair facilities. They'll have it with organizations that they use to chase hailstorms, but they don't have very many, if any, DRP actual agreements with paintless dent repair standalone facilities. So the only time the matrix really affects you when you think about it is when you do work for a collision center, body shop, another business that basically sublets to you. Then you are bound by that matrix for pricing, because the business that you're working for and subletting your repairs to, they have an agreement with the insurance company. So of course you have to abide by the rules of that agreement. If you're doing a job in a body shop, and say they are a Geico and an American Family, as an example, insurance DRP shop, but every State Farm job that you see, every Progressive job that you see, those don't need to be priced with the matrix. And that's one thing together we need to start educating people so that they know the matrix doesn't have to be something that you use as the Bible. The matrix came out in 1996. I did some research on this. The cost of living and the inflation rate, basically it's 38% more expensive to live today than it did back in 1996. So, I mean, I know what I'm paying for gas and what I pay for rent on my building. I know what things cost me. And I know in 1996, it would have cost me 38% less to take my wife and my 3 sons out to dinner than it does now. That's how much things have gone up. But the matrix, it hasn't gone up one single percentage point. It's been at a minimum charge of $75 for 1 to 5 dents on a panel. For how long now? How long is that? Since 1996, right? So when it comes to how you price and what you charge, if you do charge more than what the matrix says, always remember that. Remember when you're speaking to an adjuster, if you are going after a higher price than what the matrix suggests, which is something that I do, it's a supply and demand issue. If there's roofs that are back ordered and you can't get one, what's it gonna take to get that roof fixed? Well, it's probably gonna cost more than normal because there aren't any roofs available. You might be pushing the envelope on a push to paint situation. Those are the times that you can throw an extra, I say, 40% at the cost and have those numbers in mind to tell an adjuster, man, inflation has cost us 38% over this last long time, and now I'm gonna be charging what the fair living wage is. And always remember that. The matrix is not something that is set in stone. It's not something that you have to abide by. No one makes you abide by that. When you own your own business, you charge what you charge, unless you're working for a body shop or someone who is subletting as an agreement that you're going to abide by certain prices that they committed to, not you. So if you're in that situation, obviously your hands are tied where you're going to have to do the pricing that they require of you. So as far as the matrix goes, just remember, it is a suggested price. It is a guideline. It is not set in stone as what the price should be. If you own your own business, you have to think about it like going into a grocery store and buying a gallon of milk. Would you walk up to the counter and say, I know this milk is $3.22 a gallon, but I'm only going to give you $1.50. That's just not how it works. That's not how business works. So as far as pricing goes, and as far as what you charge, the matrix is what it is. It's a point that everyone can reference back to and say, this is what the pricing structure is and how it works. But remember, it's 40% low right now. It is 40% lower than it should be because of the cost of living and how much it's gone up. It's the same way with labor rates in different regions. And I would love, as people start to listen to this podcast and watch this podcast, please comment, please send us information at the Ding Stinger. Our email address is thedingstinger@gmail.com, or you can go to our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, you can comment. It would be amazing to have everyone that hears this podcast tell us, what is your regional labor rate and what is the insurance company requiring you to accept as a labor rate? Labor rates is going to be a different podcast that I get into, because I want to keep these podcasts short enough and simple enough that they're compiled into a library so that you can search certain topics. I don't want to hit a bunch of topics and get off track. So again, going back to what the matrix is and what it does is just don't be so hung up on that matrix. Push the envelope, ask for more money. It's your job to ask for more money. That's how we start to increase how much money we're all making. And we have to do that together. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Ding Stinger podcast. This was episode 3 called The Matrix. Have an awesome day and keep your feet solidly planted in midair.